Yes, Gab. Yes, Gab. Media. Media. What's so who are described to cast range? Share the video. Or you could do whatever you want with this video. It is information that okay, I'm back. Yeah, I know I'm boring in and out. Let me start my cell phone. Give me a second. Let me do this. I know how to correct this. I'm okay now? Gab, do I sound good? Let me know before I go into tonight's discussion. Okay. Okay, good. Well, let me do this for protection purposes. And normally, I normally don't do this, but just to be safe, because depending on my system, it can be tripping a little bit. For those, and everybody know this is Gab Taught Media. If you're not familiar with my good friend Gab, please subscribe to his channel. He has some very good content. Also, content creator here on YouTube. Let me do this. This will probably will stop the problem I'm facing. Just in case I bargain it out. Okay. Okay, let's see. Let me go back to my menu. Hey, what's up, Brandon? Okay. Wait, let me make sure I'm still on live. Yeah, I'm still live. Okay, good. There's a slow delay, so. Okay. Let's begin. If y'all familiar, today's subject is titled Legal Status of Women of American History from 1776 to 1830. The description is below at the end of this video. I'm born here in in America, up here in New England area, up here, you know, the MASH area, upper East Coast. That's where I'm from. No, the location would be more stunning, but as y'all know, I talk with a certain accent, you know, my background, you know, as y'all tell, you know, what, you know, I'll let y'all figure that out. But let me get on to the subject matter. And how you doing, Double C ADOS? I'm good. Thank you. All right. Yeah, guys, ready for me to go into this little reading that has been familiarized? This is not something new information, but I remember my good friend from the Gray regime said that they took this out, natural studies, back in 2012. So we're looking at 7 years since they removed this information. But it's good information to display for broadcast purpose only. And what happened, Brendan? Matter of fact, let me just get into the gist of things. Let me I'm not gonna look back and forth for the chat room, so bear with me as I try to pull it up. Let me get my stuff situated. All right, good. Okay, as I this. Yeah, entire screen application. My devices to make sure that I'm being shown right now. Let's look. And I think the thing is showing right now. Let me just double check. And anybody that's new to the channel, always give a comment, a like. Let the algorithm flow as it may be, so people know that I am on. Try find it. Hold on, people. Try and pull up my channel a little bit. Okay, I'm showing now. Good. Okay. That's good. All right, let's look into this article. And this is from the Glunder Leaderham Institute of American History, AP U.S. History Study Guide. As you know, this is a new nation of 1783 to 1815. The Righteous Revolution of Mercy Otis Warren. And yeah, okay. Okay, that's cool. All right, so let's go into this. The legal status of women from 1776 to 1830. And everybody knows 1776 is what we mark the first ever when America, United States of America, when its first independence and became a country from the British Crown. Now we all know in history, America is still not separate from the British Crown. They're still embeds with the British Crown. Hell, they give their taxes to the King and Queen of England still. I hope y'all guys are aware of that or know that. If you don't know, please look it up. Okay, I'm not bargaining out. Okay, and it states the state law rather than federal law governs women's rights in the early republic, and the authority of state law meant that much dependent upon where a woman lived and the particular social circumstance in her region of the country. The disparity in standards can perhaps be seen most dramatically in the experience of African American women. In the North, where states abolished slavery after the Revolutionary, Black women gained rights to marry, to have custody of their children, and to own property on paper. At least their rights were identically to those of white women. And the slaveholders of South lawmakers continued to deny enslaved workers these rights or these basics human rights. But even in South Carolina or the South, a rising number of free Black women theoretically enjoyed the same privilege under laws as white women. However, racial prejudice against both Black and Native American women made it difficult to ensure these rights in practice. And as you see the picture on the right side, this is a picture titling what's good, Al? The Life and Age of Women by Aidan Burns, Massachusetts, Cali, 1835, Library of Congress, printed and photograph division. This is the picture right here, as you can see right here. Let me see if I can highlight that picture. Let me continue. In every state, the legal status of free women depends upon material status or martial status. Unmarried women, including widows, were called femme souls or women alone. They had the legal right to live where they please and to support themselves in any occupation that did not require a license or a college degree, restricted to males. Single women could enter into contract and buy and sell real estate and accumulate purse, which was called personality. Everything that could be moved, cash, stocks, bonds, livestock, and its self slaves, so long as they remained unmarried, women could sue, and be sued. Right wills serve as guardians and act as executioners of the estate. These rights were a continuation of the colonial legal traditions, but the revolutionary emphasis on equality brought some important change in women's inheritance rights. State lawmakers everywhere abolished primogeniture and the tradition of double share of a parent estate, inheritance customs that favored the eldest son. Instead, equal inheritance for all children became the rule, a big gain for daughters. Before I continue, let me put a bookmarker here. See, right there, that's very interesting. Now, you know the funny thing with my good friend, Mr. Gray, or the Gray regime, he pointed this out that this was in his bag of tricks, his chest of things that, you know, can be used to bring clarity to a point of, you know, the sincerity of the loyalty of our women, especially our sisters in America. Outside America, we can't speak for so because a lot of us, we born and raised here. We don't know anything besides America, unless we travel enough or have family members outside here to know if, you know, the history of those islands or other countries. But for the sake of conversation, we talk here about America, that there were certain rights women of color, which is Black women, Native American or wherever, that were entitled to when America was just formulated. And this was still going on during slavery. So when I always think about how Black women have a certain entitlement and attitude towards Black men, this is not something that, you know, they just came out of yesterday and just start thinking this. This is a generational thing for now. If since 1776 to 2019, we're looking at now 242 going on 43 years now. How old this country is since established. And throughout that time period, Black women, like in nature and even now, the way how they behave now, even let's say back then, where, you know, they could own some of their cousins and aunties and brothers and children, no different now in regards to how they operate in society. Now, there could be flag and heat about this, but with the entitlement and with things that's put in place for women, not just only white women, but just women in general, I could see why most brothers have the argument what they do with a lot of our sisters. And only thing what policy does, it further strengthens this gynocracy or this so-called feminine type of country. So let me continue reading. Marriage changed women's legal status dramatically. When women married, as the vast majority did, they still had legal rights, but no longer had autonomy. Instead, they found themselves in a position of almost total dependency on their husbands, which the law called cultured or coverture. As the English jurist William Buckstone famously put it in his Commentary of English Law, 1765 to 1769. By marriage, the husband and wife are one person in the law. This is the very being or legal existence of women is suspended during the marriage, or at least is incorporated and consolidated into into that of the husband, under whose wing, protection, and coverage she performs everything. Coverture was based on assumption that a family functions best if the male head of a household controls all of its assets. As a result, a married woman could not own property independently of her husband unless they had signed a special contract called a marriage settlement. Such contracts were rare and even illegal in some parts of the country. In the absence of a separate estate, all personalities a woman brought to her marriage or earned during marriage include wages, became her husband. He could manage it or give it away as he chose without consulting her. The sound bad, and it was, but one rule works to mitigate some of the worst effects of culture. A married woman had the right to be maintained in a manner commensurate with her husband's social status. If he refused to provide for her appropriate, she could sue and win support from the courts. While waiting for the court judgment, she was permitted to run up charges at local stores and taverns, and her husband had to pay for them. Judges constantly applied this rule called the doctrine of necessities in order to prevent men from neglecting their wives, but the court could not stop husband from gambling or making bad investments. Women had no protection when their husbands proven irresponsible. If creditors pursued a husband for debt, his wife was entitled to keep only the bare necessities of life. This was usually defined as 2 dresses, so she would have one to wear while the other was being washed, cooking, utensils, and a bed. Women's rights to real property, the land and buildings that constitute most wealthy in the early nation period, were more extensive than their rights to personalities. A husband could not sell or mortgage the reality of his wife brought to their marriage without her consent. He could use it, but he could not convey it because a woman real estate generally inherits from her father, was meant to stay in the family and descends through her to her children, and a wife also had important rights to the real properties that her husband brought to the marriage or purchased afterwards. He could not sell or mortgage it unless she signed a settlement significant her free consent, which was records with the deed. Few mortgages or buyers will enter into an agreement without the wife's consent. They knew that she retained her rights to be maintained by the property in event of her husband's death, even if he dies unsolvent. The courts were careful to assure that a wife signed a conveyancy of her own free will and not because of pressure from the husband or a court officer requesting her apart from him to confirm that she actually agrees to the sale or mortgage. Hold on a second. Okay. Okay. One of the most important rights of a married woman was down, which was designed to provide her with support during widowhood. It consists of a life estate and 1/3 of the husband's real property. If there were children and one half and there were not, a life estate did not mean actual ownership of the property. It was meant only to provide for the wife as her husband would have done had he lived under a legal system that recognized her position of dependency within the family. When a widow dies, her dowry land descendants automatically to her husband, heir, or to his creator. A solvent husband couldn't leave the window more than dowry. If he chose to, he could even leave her his entire estate and free or fee simple, absolute ownership, but he could not leave her less. Most couples rely on dowries as their standards for how much to leave. And a dowry was a legal tradition carried over from colonial days. This and other rules about marriage, women, property rights were meant to support the family. As a unit, they work reasonably well in an economic system based on land wealth under which families typically stayed in one place and rarely sold a mortgage. Their farms, they did not work as well. However, in a society like the rapid expanding of industrialization, 19th century United States, where land charged hand frequently, where there was growth in personal property as well as land. And let me stop there for a second. Now, this mirror dealing with husband and wife, but we don't really look into most of these husbands. Sometimes might be married or might not married to their wives, and it goes back to again in regards to the slave woman, because we all know in slavery the master had his way with some of our women, and we all know during the time men died much sooner than women. So I remember when Sterling brought up about, if men die, everything that's ownership goes straight to the woman. So it makes even better sense that if he had no heirs or he was messing with slaves and the slave had child because, they were getting it on, it would make sense that black women greatly took advantage of this. And it made sense why even slavery, even back then, even during now, that it lasted even a little longer. Let me continue. Under these new circumstances, the old system of property laws flattered. It failed to give adequate protection to women and at the same time denies them the ability to safeguard their own interests. In recognition of this dilemma, states began to pass married women property acts in the antebellum decades. These acts gave wives the same legal rights as single women with regards to their estate and wages. See that? It was pre-penal legislation enacted regulating by male lawmakers who would have preferred to keep women dependent within the family. Yet the lawmakers recognized that these reforms were essential in a capitalist economy based on movable wealth. Political rights were a function of control over property for men in the republic, but genders alone was the bias of women exclusion from voting or holding office. Simply put, men with property had the right to vote in early national periods, but women, no matter how wealthy, did not. Even though women paid the same taxes as men, the reason behind the discrimination rests on the assumption that married women were liable to coercion by their husbands. If a wife vote legislator argues it meant that a man cast two ballots. As one man put it, how can a fair one refuse her lover? Yet single women were also denied suffrage, a clear sign that more was at stake than the power of a husband to influence his wife's choices at the poll. Blatantly discriminatory attitudes keep lawmakers from giving women the vote. They did not want to share their political power with daughters, mothers, and wives, just as they did not want to share it with free black men or immigrants. The pattern can be seen clearly in New Jersey, the one state where women with property were allowed to vote after the revolution. In 1807, legislators took this right away, not only from women, but from black men and alien as well. As it turns out, discrimination against women in an era of the franchise listed the longest of any disadvantaged group, at least on paper. American independence brought women greater freedom from husbands who were abusive, neglectful, or adulterous. In colonial society, divorce was virtually impossible under English precedent. But all of the new states recognized the need to end unhappy marriage. The choice of appropriate remedial very considerable. However, some states, particularly in the South, only allow separate residence with alimony, called divorce from bed and board. Other states grant absolute divorce with the right of the innocent party to remarry. It matters of divorce, social and religious values affect the laws in different parts of the country. The conservatism of divorce laws in the southern states, for example, was probably related to slavery. It was difficult for lawmakers to grant women absolute divorce because of their husband's adulterous relationship with slaves. Liberal New England laws, in contrast, stem from a long-standing Praetorian belief that it was better for unhappy couples to separate and remarry than to be joined forever in a state of discord and temptation of sin. Child custody rights also changed after the revolution. The courts were increasingly willing to bypass colonial precedent that favored men in custodial disputes. Instead, they placed young children and daughters, although not sons, under the care of mothers. These reforms reflect the rising importance of the gender bias ideology of separate spheres, which gave women moral preeminence in the private sphere of the home and men supremacy in the marketplace and politically. Women would use the concept of moral motherhood to great advantage in their struggle for social justice over the next century. And this is off by Women's Law Property of Early American 1989 and the Limits of Independent American Women 1760 to 1800 and 1998. And let me stop sharing. Hey, how you doing, yeah, Ice? Let me go back. I did give you the link. All right. Let me get back to my screen. Whew. That was interesting. Yeah. Well, that's where it is. This was very informative. Even when I read it and looked at it more closely, it makes sense that, you know, even when slavery lasted a little longer, but it showed the role of women, not just the regular European women, but women in general, including Black women back in the time. And you know, the funny thing, when they talk about the reparations, I really believe, and I want people to challenge me on this, that, you know, they gave it mostly to the women in regards to reparations. And the reason why I say this is because when they bring it up about reparations, they're not really entitled to really give reparations at all because they already gave it, and they gave it solely to the Black female. And because of this, and depending on how this country and this empire is already in its decline, that how that's going to last up. And I stand on my quote, even when I said to my other good friend, YouTuber, that Black men should get reparations out of anything first. I wholeheartedly stay firm on my convictions because I know that, say, when the Black gets his share, he's going to eventually turn this around and turn around in a very high way, heavy way. I know, Gab, He had a fake question. Said, "What? What you mean, black man? Well, you know, we are the ones that built this country, and obviously, it's going to take the black man to really fix all this." You know what I'm saying? And think about this: they give the woman everything. Why do they give women everything? From the jobs to everything you say, because they know they're going to be very hyper consumers. They like to spend. America knows where that money's going to go, right back in their pocket, tenfold, like a cash register. Ching, 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 ching. You feel me? And another thing, I will say this. And I want black males, black boys that hear my voice on this. Anytime somebody tells you, let's say hypothetically, if you're raised by your mother and you want to go to the military, and she tells you, I want you boys to get a second referral. Anybody that's in the military, get their take on it. My advice, I would tell you should go anyway, because that's where most of all the institution and power is going to be laid on. From the police, fire department, the military, all that is there. What's this? To the black community, you must unman the man. Yes, and that's the whole purpose. Once you unman the man, you don't have no community. And I always hear this talk about a lot of females. And the funny thing with them, if they say black men are the leaders of the community and they're looking for men to lead, then I would say find a competent man that's going to lead you in that path. Because if that's what you desire, you look for the ones that show permanence that he could lead. I'm not sure why this is so hard. It's simple. It's rocket scientists. This is not something that they make it harder than it seems. Hold on. Hold on a second. And the funny thing about all this is that even when Cerrone did his broadcast about the military, it is very frightening to know that out of 40% of non-white people that's in the military, black women are in the military more than men. Now everybody knows that when you have a surplus of your armed force, and mostly it's women that's in there in certain fields in the military than men, you're in danger. Matter of fact, you're making it easy for the enemy. It's like lining up free pussy, and they'll say thank you because they know a real skilled man. Because men are very dangerous. They're very skilled, especially when they get the right skill. He'll really take advantage of any threat or any opposition that is not man. Okay. Yeah. So what? Hold on. Okay. So like I said before, a lot of black men need to start take his power and position and start putting himself in these dominant spaces. Don't expect the women in our community that's gonna really change it around, because right now they're in the nesting mode. You're right, Neon. Hey, Neon, did I give you the link? Check your box. Cause I want you to tell your story about the military. Please, can you come upstairs? Yeah, they have no business in the military. I totally agree. But because this country is losing empire and women are looking for work spaces so they can continue their, consumerism behavior and nesting, this is what we're going to see all the time. Matter of fact, I could see it might get better for us as race people, or it might get worse here in the West we call America. It is only that decision only lies on ourselves. And like always, I feel there's gonna be the better we can come out of this, because we survived much worse than this. And like I said, the purpose of the stream today was just to reveal the history part of it that has not been talked about. I mean, you hear women say that, they got black men's back. I would say in my point, even from reading that, I would say maybe some of you, but not enough. Even to the point, if you really had your back for the black men, you would take more interest on your black boys, your black sons, because they're gonna be men one day. And if you do not prepare them or put in spaces for them to dominate, then obviously you are really setting them up for their subjugation, like everybody else. Everybody else. So when you complain about, say, where the men at, there they go. You're pampering them for, I like to say, to the slaughterhouse. And you're gonna find enough men gonna be wearing more dress, more skirts. They're gonna act so feminine, which some of our black females have no problem with today. Matter of fact, they like it as we speak. That's why you see, even from the celebrities to the average sister, if you ask the question, they'll tell you honestly that they don't have no problem with most men acting feminine. I mean, me as a man, I have a problem with that, but that's my opinion. But like I said, other men have a problem, but most people that's upholding the foolishness is mostly the women. So anytime when you hear any woman, and it could be any woman, talking about the value of men or the psychology of man or any of that sort, I always say you always point two fingers back at yourself and look at the psychology of what you played into this destruction and this constant revolving of the hamster's net. So as I now open the lines up for the, and I hope you respect everybody from the stream that the information I gave. Okay, Judge. What's up, brother?
What's going on, man? I actually just woke up. I had been asleep this afternoon and just woke up at 12 o'clock.
Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. Yeah, I did a little reading on the legal status of women in America. You might have heard this already from my good friend Mr. Cerulean. I just did a whole stream on this just to give a reading layout of it and my perspective of it. Yeah. And there's probably more into what it call the Pandora's box, the gray regime have, but only time will tell. But like always, I had to sit and evaluate and look at even the situation now with the military and find that out of 40% of non-white people that's in the military, a good portion of it is our sisters. There's more black women in the military than men. And that is very scary.
There's more black women in the military than men?
Than black men.
I don't believe that.
No, trust me. I didn't want to believe, but he did the numbers on the stream.
Wow.
Yeah. It's serious. It's getting real
hard to
serious.
believe.
And the funny thing about all
that, I could remember a lot. I got a lot, like even on my friends list. I have a lot of friends on Facebook who I went to school with. A lot of them went to the military. I can only think of one female that went to the military.
Yeah. How long ago was that?
I'm not saying that's not true, but I mean, I got a lot of military friends.
Yeah. But think about this. And to be honest with you, when I think about why would they always push black males to not stay away from the military, and one of the few things they'll give you, their reason why is that they're gonna be what? Brainwash, right?
Or they always try to say, I've heard bullshit, try to fight the white man's war. It's all this.
That dumb shit. And I've been
hearing
that, and I follow the same game. Everybody said they're gonna fight some man's war. Besides the brainwash, because you can't get any brainwash than serving 12 years of your life in a de-education system we call public school, or any form of school system. Because anything that goes from pre-K to 12, either public, charter, private, is the same programming. No different. People think that the education is going to be just different because you go with uniforms. No, it's the same program at the end of the day. And matter of fact, in the future video, I'm probably going to talk about, in regards to people that are, there's workers and there's people that's making things happen. It's not the title, but I'll give it down light in future broadcasts. But it's like this, that with the amount of things that's going on and black males having it very hard on here, that oh, I got echo. Let me check. Is that me? No, it's not. That's you, Judge. I'm not sure if you play on YouTube.
You said, oh, okay, wait a minute. Let's see.
All right. Let me see this stop. Okay, stop. Good. Yeah, it's a little better.
What was it? You might have heard. I think what happened is somebody texted me.
Oh, okay.
You might have heard that.
Yeah, it's a little better. Okay, that's cool. Yeah. So, like I was saying before, you're gonna be programmed anyway. I tell people many times, if you came out before you in the army as what they call a coon or program Negro, you're gonna come out the same way. It's no different. Matter of fact, most of the people that gotten really serious and conscious came out of the military. If you think about it, if we really look back. So I'm not sure where people get this idea that you're gonna get even more programming than you already been programmed. I mean, you already assimilate to the system. The only thing you want to get out of these institutions of power is to gain the main resources for your own survival, if you can get into them. That's why these are the only few institutions that survive any catastrophe, crash, anything. Military, hospitals, fire department, and police department. They're the only ones that stand under any recession or any economic downturns in history. So when I hear people talking about they avoid becoming police officers, military, or any of these other fields, is somebody's putting it in your head to keep you away from the actual power. And black people don't really see when, if they tell me go one direction, I should be going that direction. The word say, if they say I must go left, I have to go right. That way. I was saying that.
You can understand that.
Yeah, like if they tell me say don't go here, go over there, it makes me want to go to the place that he don't want me to go to. You follow me?
Right.
Yeah. I mean that's.
I ain't gonna say it always does that, but it all depends on when it's exposed to.
I see. Hold on a second. I got a message. Hold on, people. I'm just checking something. Yeah, but like I said before, institution power is a necessity, and like everything that's laid out. And the funny thing, what I don't mind dudes talk about women to a degree, but it comes to a point say, black man is you only is all you got is yourself. I'm saying,
definitely.
And other black men,
definitely.
Regardless,
about it. It's okay. As I say, I think what a lot of people, one reason why there's always good conversations about that is because we all can relate to that in some form or way. But one of the things is us as black men, I think that a lot of times things get skewed because people will talk about women, but then think that because they're talking about their problems that they're whining or crying about it, and they don't realize that sometimes when you just talk about your problems, you just show other people so they don't make those mistakes. That's what I really think it is, but it does come off kind of as hate, to other groups. Or then sometimes, I will admit, sometimes people just can get burned out talking about it,
Yeah, they get burned out, and not only get burned out, but it's. Oh, I got feedback. So.
No, I think that's my thing. I don't. Let
me see if it's still saying. Okay, it's gone. It's gone. All right. Like I said before.
Yeah, I think what happens is this. That's my I have a text to speech thing. So every time somebody is texting me,
Hmm.
And every time they text me, I think that's what you probably hear because every time it talks, it just read like. Could you hear that message that came through or no?
No, I just hear the feedback of my voice talking over like an echo.
Yeah, yeah. You might hear, yeah, like so you can't hear what's said, but you can hear an echo, like,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, because that's the text talking to me.
Okay.
And I don't know,
Okay.
I don't, I ain't even gonna lie, I can't remember exactly who this is.
Hmm. I see. I see. I see.
And somebody's texting you. Right.
Yeah. But like I was saying before, yeah, like I said, it's all we got, and like I said with the women, and I said this before, women are gonna do what they're gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And as much time as the only thing a black man could do is try to protect himself as much as possible. One thing I read from this article is even with the divorce and marriage, how since America was formulated in 1776, that the European man during that time was an adulterer, abuser, which he always was in history back then, still now. And one thing what they put in laws now is so-called protection for their women, you know. And a lot of people didn't really understand that. These laws were not just formulated for the last 80 years. This is formulated since the creation of America itself. And that's the first stages of what we call the gynocracy in America. So this was in the process. I saw echo. You might have to mute your line, Judge, because the echo's bad right now.
Wait 1 second here. Yeah, I think it's my hand over the thing too.
Okay.
Hold on a sec. Oh, damn. What? Yeah, sometime when I close this Hangout thing, it won't let me open it back up when I take it off the main screen. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Okay.
I'm listening.
Well, like I said, just mute your line. Okay, perfect. Yeah. So, like I said, since the creation of this country, they always put laws in place for protection of women. And a lot of our sisters, at much time they say they get raped and stuff. Yeah, that might be one of them. But you were protected under this country since 1776 till now. And this is the reason why certain books and certain classes or anything that this information was kept in wraps. They don't want this information out. Hell, a lot of feminists don't want this information out if they knew this exists or not, because it shows the situation here in America, and it really leads to the civil rights thing. Right here, even rhetoric that black people fought just to get close to white people, especially black men. But black women has always got access to white men all the time. And for their argument, they make it seem now that black men just sit there flocking just to run to catch non-black women in mass rows. But as I look at reading this part of history and other things, that is not necessarily the case. I don't really advocate interracial relationship, but I understand even back then now what plays into this. And regardless who does it more, it's still bad on both of us when we entertain it. And one thing with systemization laws were removed back in 1967, it only opens the doors for most of us to engage even more. Primarily, it probably make the black man in America engage a little bit more and give more access during them time. Like women, you always got access to the European man. Hell, some of you even back then that you entertain him, and even during Jim Crow and all that stuff, that's what it was. And this country protects women, and we might not see it, but really, truly, the books and laws protect a whole bunch of them, whether we knew it or not. That's why you see certain things that the black man get. He barely gets anything in this country. He don't even get respect in this country. Yeah. So the premise of today was to just to air out this article and the status of women in America and the formation of America. Go ahead.
Well, I can say you're definitely true on that. One of the things it just gets, I laugh when the women say that they're the ones that being disrespected. I'm like, I don't care. Even if that, the black men have always been the lowest on the totem pole. I mean, look what it is. I mean, it's just like, when anything goes down, you have no say. You know, have no say, or even when you do speak your mind, you're not, your things aren't taken into consideration. You know, your feelings are never taken into consideration, so don't have any feelings.
Indeed, indeed. Hold on a second. Let's check in the message. All right. Yeah. And like I said, even with the no fart divorce, and I might do a show on that just to read on that to get the real more legit to that. I could include it on this stream, but I'll leave that for another time. That the policy is put in place hurts men, but it seems like it hurts black men even the most. I could be wrong, but since we had and try to attain some of our families, when these things were put in place in the 70s, it just further the divide between black men and black women. So when women feel said that black men just walk out, no, that is definitely not the case. Because when you put these stipulations in place, it makes it easy for you to walk out, which really by default you want to walk out anyway for either little things. Hold on. So like I said before, and you know it's funny, Judge, I was going through Boyce Watkins' channel, and he mentioned how one woman said that told one of Nipsey's I guess wife or baby mama, Double C Ados, you there?
Yo, what's going on, man?
How you doing? How you doing, sir? I'm
And
good.
yourself?
I'm good. I'm good. One woman posted saying that Lauren London should secure the bag, leaving I guess her baby dad that sees as an object. And I think in my mind said, if that was y'all thinking to just secure the bag, that it makes sense that when they put policies in place, it makes it even easier for most women that either care or want to build some just to walk out of it easy and get 90% of the male's wealth, or just close to that. Now that we think about it. So I can understand why a lot of men, especially black men, are not getting married like this in mass numbers. They're very selective when they get married now. Because do they know the consequence of wealth of people once you keep constant divorce?
Well,
Or
I
they
tell
just
my
don't care?
sons, I have two sons. I would tell them,
Mhm.
unfortunately, right now, I mean, it's just the fact. You don't even mean nothing. You get a prenup, still don't mean nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
because they even tell, even smart businessmen know, prenup don't mean nothing. There's always ways out of it. But what I
Yeah.
would do is,
Mm-hmm.
I would tell them to.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I would believe that there's no. It's no way you can win with that.
No,
Plain and
there's no
simple.
way.
You just, right. I watch a lot of people. Unfortunately, with the way society is right now, you're just going to be ruined in the court of public opinion if everything goes wrong. So
Mm-hmm.
you might as well just say, nope, not doing it.
Well,
And
basically, marriage is for in most cases for men, especially in a Commonwealth state, it's a lose-lose situation.
Mm.
Or like personally, I know people now who fiance or women are trying to push a man to get married, and guys like, nah, I'll lose a lot of benefits if I got married to you. And it's nothing personal. It's just but it's a way of what you said earlier to secure the bag. You
Yeah.
know, something were to happen, the man dies or whatever, he has a life insurance policy, and they're not married. it'll go to the next of kin, whether it be the parents or the children or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have to acknowledge the girlfriend or the woman at all in most cases. And they won't.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's funny that there are certain things put in place for, say, protection of men. When you analyze it, there's not really no protection of men, especially here in America, in regards to marriage. That one way or the other, if you fuck up, you lose. If she fucks around you, you still lose. So it's like a not even win-win situation. It's like a
It's
losing
catch
situation.
22, right? Catch 22.
It's
You
catch
fucked it,
22.
you know. It's, you know, you're screwed either way. You know, either.
Yeah. And,
Unfortunately, that's what's really so bad about it. Then more than anything, it's just you know you're gonna come out. You're not gonna come out a winner. So you know why even do it?
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And the ones that do are very, very lucky. I mean, it's so rare. I mean, I only saw it once in my lifetime when one guy came out where she was paying child support to the guy, and he got the house and everything. I was like, well, how the hell you pull that shit off? You know, but that was only once. I don't know what happened, but she was that bad though. You know, and most of the time, if the woman could be on drugs, she could have a drug dealer in the house. She could be abusing those kids.
Raping them.
Breaking up. I'm breaking up.
No, you good. No, I said raping them. Raping them.
Yep. Well, I know one lady went to a court case, and she was the worst person you could think of. They granted her custody of the children, even though the children did not want to go with the mother. So it's not about. Well, it's the betterment of the child. It's not about the betterment of the child. It's for the man to be paying you forever, because that's how the state make their money.
Yeah.
You know, let's say the man got paid $30 a week in child support, and that's a very low number. The woman might get $16 of that.
So we always want what happened to the other $10.
Exactly.
Actually, $11 because $30, right?
Yeah, and I'm being liberal with the numbers. You know, that's why most men would want to pay for their children in child support. But if you're making $20,000, $25,000 a year, you're just broke, and you're trying to live, and as a single man, even with kids or no kids, you get little to no assistance.
Yeah,
they'll tell you, well, you can't get food stamps. Go get another job. There's nothing we can do for you. But if your woman gets on it, don't worry, it's a loan. You got to pay all that money back. You know.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh yeah, I've seen all types of stuff. I mean, when I used to work at a warehouse, we used to get bonus checks if you didn't use your sick time.
Sick time, yeah.
Yeah, or pay time off. So basically, it was a non-workable tax. They tax you instead of 33%, they tax you like 42%. But you know, if you use your time, you get a check at the end of the year. I remember these guys got their checks. 5 of them came out the office crying because child support took everything. And the district manager said, "Just go home, man. Just go home. Don't bother. We'll take care of you. Just go home."
Wow.
And yeah, go ahead.
But really, it goes back to say women really don't care, especially when it comes to our sisters that really take their stuff and start building and staying with a man, building something. That I'm really convinced they rather take the accepted. Some of them said they rather choose a man than the system and all that. But I disagree because you see our situation today, our communities. It says otherwise. We know stories of a few men that tell you they're getting raped by the system. Some even doing some time in jail for child support. So how the hell this is building anything wealth? And really, to really build wealth and actual communities, you gotta have families. People forget about that. Double ADOS. Mary Brown's been preaching this for some time now. Me and him had a conversation on this, and let everybody know that's listening to the stream. He is going to do a stream either on Blog Talk or YouTube on how brothers, if they want to get married, how to get married, what process they should go through, and what they should do, it's preparation, and it's going to be probably one of many streams that is now introduced, which I can't wait, and I want people to attend and listen to that. Who just jumped in? Who's this?
It's Mr. Research. How are you?
How you doing? I'm good. Everything good, Mr. Research?
How you doing, sir?
How are you, gentlemen?
I'm good.
Good.
I'm good. Well, we was speaking on certain things. I did read of an article called "Legal Status of Women" earlier tonight. I mean, I'm not going too much deep in that. You have to catch the replay on that. But we was just talking about things in general, in regards to things that the men, have the hard, and certain things that games that's being played in regards to really how we direct us to get power. In regards to like even institutions, like I told you before, Double, that you hear these rhetoric of they always telling black men to stay away from certain institutions like the military, police, or anything like that. And what I come to find out with help of Cerulli, that when he did numbers on the military, you find that almost 40% of non-black is in the military. And now that 40%, more black women are in the military than men. Can you believe that?
No, I really can't.
So now I'm picking say you're in a country right now that's supposed to be the best military and all stuff. If you have more of your women on the battlefield than men, your empire is not going to hold pretty long. Regardless of our empire, but now having women on the battlefield, you just line them up for other men, racist men, to say thank you very much for this present. You send me a nice woman, which they could attack, plunder, rape, plunder, pillage, all they want. Because actually, the women don't understand men are more suitable for war. Because men kill other men. Especially a skilled man is a very dangerous man. You know what I'm saying? And that's my point on it.
So I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question on that. So, would it not benefit the black males, the BMC, if they do that? Because two things happen.
Mm-hmm.
The life of the son is saved,
mm-hmm.
and also for those who feel that they're independent enough to do it will come to a quick reality. Here's my justification for saying that.
Okay.
There's a popular video by a Latin sergeant on how she's Latin and black, on how lazy a lot of her black female recruits are.
Oh, I saw that video. I know what you're talking about.
I didn't find that video. Matter of fact,
here's my point. Here's my point, though.
Well, go ahead. Sorry, sir.
Here's my point, though. Wouldn't it benefit us more? Because now they have to come to the reality. And just before Obama, what was happening is these ladies were not full front fighting. They had to get jocks and tip of the spear guys to head their teams. And most of those guys kept dying.
Mm-hmm.
So now what you have is, you have an influx of ladies, but it's at the death of a lot of those dudes who were assigned to those platoons. So it doesn't really help us because now they get to realize what it takes to be that I am independent person.
Yes, you're right, Mr. Richards. You're right. And the drawback of this is that women know saying that even they want to be like men, right? We all know this, right? So now that, let's say this country now, and if you notice this research, just months ago, they now put in law now that women have to sign up for drafts for the military if they call upon them. So now we're saying this, that you ask for it, now you wish for it, here you go. You know, now they're gonna put you in the same line as men, and you're gonna get the full grunt of going battle with another nation. And a lot of, and then mind you, what's really said this, what stories with a lot of women that's in the military, that's even on the front line. Some are afraid on average to be doing battlefields. Sometimes they'll do things like get sick or get pregnant to avoid doing real actual combat. And like my good friend Neon Eyes said it best, that women have no business in the military because this is not their place, you know, to be on the front line. But a lot of them want to act and be like men, and then they they ask what they get, and this is what's going to happen. Okay. That's my perspective. I'm not sure if anybody want to agree, disagree, or expound on what I just said.
Well, honestly, I believe women shouldn't be in the military. Personally, I do agree with you on that one. And now here's the thing, because they want equality, and I had this conversation with my fiance. I was like, you guys do not want true equality. What you is basically saying, like, okay, well, you shouldn't park in the handicap space. It should be for a handicap. All right, that's fine. But you only want the space because it's beneficial to you. When it stopped being beneficial to you, then all of a sudden you want to play, well, I'm a woman and men should take care of it. You can't have it both ways.
Thank you. I watch that all the time.
Because all right, I'm going a little.
I agree with you. I said I agree. I agree with you.
No, I just I pay all the bills here, right? So I pay the cost to be the boss.
Exactly.
She's like, well, I pay a little bit. I said, no. If you want true equality, I'll tell you what. We go split down half the middle. We'll go get a 2-3 bedroom apartment. We pay everything down the middle. And by the way, you buy your own food. You cook your own meals. You get your car back. And when your car breaks down or you need gas, don't call me. I'll Uber it or catch a bus. She's like, you do that? You want true equality, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and by the way, since I pay for the dog and you wanted that dog, you'll be taking care of that dog. And she's like, so, but that's if you want true equality. And guess what? You clean up after yourself. I clean up after myself.
They don't do none of that. They don't do none of that shit.
She's like, no, I'm fine with everything's the way things are. Oh, okay, then. So what you learn? You pay the cost to be the boss. Thank you.
Thank you.
And that was a conversation. Honestly, that was a serious conversation 3 years ago. And every once in a while, I'll joke about it, just to fuck with her. But it's never came up again. Because I'll give you true equality. Trust me, I'll give it a shit. That'll take some of the burden off of me.
Definitely. This is the thing that they don't realize something. They want the equality when they can see the benefits, but they don't want to add the extra stresses and stuff to their life. I mean, literally, if they really wanted to say, well, fine, we want equality and this, that, and the other. Well, fine, we'll go down here. All right, this is what we're gonna do. Since to show that we are fair. If the child is born on an even day, the father gets custody. If the child is born on an odd day, the mother gets custody. And then, really, if you really want to be fair, we can split all that shit down the window. But this is the thing.
Well,
go to the projects and look how many houses you see in a project that the women have, compared to how many guys you see in the projects in low income housing.
Let me share the microphone with you on that note. I don't think that it's an issue of they don't realize. I think it's an issue of they've been indoctrinated for so long that their behavior has become a normality.
Yes.
And now we as men, and this is why I say, instead of complaining about what they do, we need to do like the brother just did, constantly, subtly remind them, hey, this is what equality is. You know that, right? Because I think if we spend more time being angry and complaining, we give them just what they want. We give them a villain. But if we stay in our logical space and say, hey, look, This is what equality is. I'm not going to. I'm here at work. I'm not going to get that off the top row for you. You're gonna have to get a step chair because well, you're not a real man, lady. I'm gonna have to go to HR and report this because I feel disrespected by what you said. Because I don't ask you to clean up after we have an office party. So I don't even know why we having this conversation. And see, men have to start doing that stuff, even though it seems like silly to do. Because it's the only way they truly learn equality is through paperwork. And why it ain't enough brothers hired here? Why is it all these women? We got to start doing that type of stuff. Go ahead, gentlemen.
But think about it, research, Mr. Wolf, that most people respond by reward and punishment. Like I did a video on the Skinner experiment that Amiri shared about reward and punishment. Women not gonna really see anything unless there's a punishment to everything. You give them something entirely that will be benefit, but when they do something wrong, then it's like a shock they get or a punishment. Like you said, you're gonna report them to HR if they don't do this. Then they're gonna say,
right.
"Oh, I don't want to be punished." Wait, hold on.
Right.
Yeah, what's up, Gab? If you want to come up, Gab, I put the link. I'm on. I'll give you the link, Gab.
Here's the only thing. Here's the only thing I'm going to suggest to you as a corporate guy. Your verbal punishment is not as good as your documented punishment.
Okay.
Because your documented punishment lives beyond you. Yeah, it lives beyond you being there. Okay. Your verbal punishment is where, if you ever notice with women, and what I say on my page, they always trying to goat you into a tennis ball match where you hit the ball, she hit the ball, you hit the ball, she hit the ball. But when you don't do that and you come in as things where you're like, hey, lady, I'm just here to do X, Y, Z. I'm dating you and this is what it is. I let you know from the get-go what I was about. I'm not like other dudes. Then now she has some type of documentation to look back and say, okay, Judge told me that this is how it is. Chaos told me that this is how it is. But the mistake we make is they know that we are eager to get whatever it is from them, whether it's their beauty, their draws, their money, whatever. And we come in many a times accepting a lot of crap. Unlike the brother who spoke a minute ago, where he said, no, do you want true equality? Well, here's what that is. Now, what are your options? Oh, I get in line. Okay. And I joke with her every now and then to remind her.
Yes.
That my code has not changed.
And don't get it twisted. Now, every once in a while, she'll give me a shit test, but it's not a bad shit test. Okay. So every once in a while, I know she's giving me a shit test. I have to be spontaneous and say no. Like, after work, right? She, I work from midnight to 8 in the morning. And she likes to talk about breakfast. And, I was getting it for a while. I said, wait a minute, I ain't getting it to you. And one day she didn't believe me. So for a few weeks, I stopped doing it. And she said, well, why'd you stop? Because you're not going to get used to me doing anything. And I said, when I feel like you start getting used to me doing anything, I'll pull back. So she learned, okay, not to expect anything from me. She learned not to ask for certain things. I'll do it when I feel like doing it. Or I'm up to doing it.
Right. But what you've done is you have subliminally trained her without being directly training her, which goes to what Chaos said about discipline and not discipline. But go ahead.
Got me a little honest with you guys. I was a former simp. I've been in a few relationships that was lose-lose on my end. After doing that shit for a few years, you're like, you know what? Fuck it. You have to have standards. And with a person with no standards, you're always gonna be in a lose-lose situation. And that was probably because the way I was raised in a church. You're supposed to revere all women, and you're supposed to pretty much take their shit and be a subordinate to all women. Because most of my family are all women.
Do you ever notice how too, like I said, you were raised, and it was like everything you were told, especially by this, is if you didn't do these certain qualities, you weren't a real man. A real man wouldn't. And it's like, well, wait a minute. So basically, you just training me to be a damn doorstop.
But here's the thing. Now you're in a relationship with another woman that does the exact same thing. Now the mother got a problem. I was like, why's my mom got a problem with my ex-wife? I mean, not with the woman I have now. She loves her.
Yep.
But no, she loves her because where I was with my mother. I'm like, because I put a stop to it. Like most black men won't confront their mother. I will.
Well, this is the same thing.
I done had a couple cuss outs with my mother plenty of times.
So
in the beginning, I used to be on that, and then I had to wait a minute. Who the fuck you talking to? Last time I told her, I said, you don't realize something. That's why men ain't gonna take that shit after a while. You only gonna take a certain amount of shit.
Listen, here's one thing you can tell your parent if you don't want to cuss them out, and it will work. You are the parent, but I'm the adult. They'll hate you for it at first. I told my mother that shit. Now she back down. I told my mother this: you ain't paying none of my bills. I'm an adult. You're not paying none of my bills. So unfortunately, you can only give your opinion. That's all. Opinion? What she got? You give her that much?
I told my mother,
I may not listen to it, but you can give your opinion as my mom. But that don't mean look. Sometimes she been told me, "Well, I thought that I told you right. You gave your opinion. I chose not to do that. It's a big difference."
I told my mother in 2001. I said, "Look here, lady. I love you a lot, but check this out. Do not call me back until you get your mind right. I'm up here dealing with man problems and man situations. So until you respect that, don't call me." That phone would ring for 8 months. I saw her number. I would not pick it up. One day I picked it up after 8 months because silence is more damaging than saying something back to her. And I picked it up. I picked it up after 8 months. And the first thing out of her mouth wasn't even hello. She said, "I'm sorry. I apologize. I never do that again." Because what you got to do is you got to see whether this lady who raised you really has value for you as a human being, or to what Double said earlier, or whether she sees you as a servant. You got to understand, going back to the days of slavery, why was there a Chicken George? There was a Chicken George because they had beat the warrior in the streets. They had beat the warrior in front of everybody. And the white man turned to Chicken George and said, "Here go a top hat and a scarf. You the man now. But all of y'all bow down to this woman who I'm going to be raping later."
Wow.
And after 300 years, facts, that's how a lot of us behave. Dudes want to fight like Chicken George. They want to fight Double. They want to fight Chaos. They want to fight Judge. Don't even realize why they fight. Man, that's a woman, but she told you she's independent though. But that's still a woman.
I'm gonna tell you something my mother told me, and you know what? I didn't understand that shit until I turned like 25. She said the black man had 3 slave masters: the white man, the black woman, the white woman. The last 2, not in that order. And I was like, shit. That was one of the most profound things I heard.
What's so bad when you think about it? It's true. I mean, because like I said, we the bottom on the totem pole. There's nobody lower than us. Mm-hmm. Nobody. I mean, when it comes to respect wise and all like that, you know, the only thing I said is that the only advantage we got in the world is that women like to fuck us. That's it. Technically, that don't mean shit. And that ain't worth nothing.
But you know what, Judge? Like when I saw your image on some of the female panels, have you noticed how they don't want to let you talk? They want to give you your opinion for you. They want to do all this type of stuff. And on some of these YouTube female panels. And then at the same time, now that they've marginalized you, the minute they need for your energy, the minute somebody else come up there like Double and start bucking up, now they turn the Judge and say, "Defend us." That's the insanity.
I've had that many a time.
It goes to infer, Mr. Wolf. They look and view black males as objects, like you're entitled. So they say you gotta do as I say.
No, your tools in a toolbox. They want to put you in your place, which is in a box that they want, and then they pull you out when they need you. And they don't realize that a lot of us men. I mean, this is the reason why I'm not even going to lie. The Me Too movement and the feminists and all their ways is coming back to bite a lot of good women in the ass. Because a lot of men, what are we doing? We know that all this is how they act. So we tell them what we want them to hear for a while. And then as soon as they get on our nerves, we just play them like third period French and get the fuck up out of there. It's just what it is. You just fuck them. Oh, as soon as you get on my nerves, you're gone. And then you wonder why dudes get ghosted. Like, he was so good and then he just straight up flipped. Plain and simple. He done already saw your bitch tendencies and he realized you wasn't worth nothing but pussy. So as soon as you got on his nerves, he's gone. I'm going to tell you, this is how you know if you're a good woman. If you can get a nigga to stay after you fuck him.
But I gotta ask all of y'all a question though, because like this goes to what me and Chaos have disagreed about. If we know that's the case, why do we not just use our feet and take our power and our power tools and remove ourselves from these people?
Well, I think that's what they're doing. I think they don't realize. Okay,
here's the question, though, Judge. Why do we keep trying to negotiate as if they're going to hear us? Go ahead, Judge.
Okay, I say like this: I think we negotiate, but they don't really care. So basically, all they're doing by them not trying to come to the table is they're just going further and further down on the list, and that's just opening them up to be played by more and more men. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, man. If I was 18, 19 years old now, with the way that everything's going, oh shit, man, I ain't gonna lie, I'd probably be running through women just like my kids. I mean, really, first time she get on your nerves or display any type of, you kick it to the curb. Period.
Oh, by the way, now I'm gonna tell you the mistake that was made there. One, that's one thing I've learned. You don't negotiate with terrorists.
Definitely. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie. I broke up with my girlfriend 2 days ago. Now, y'all guys know she lives here with me. She's actually gone.
Well, like I said,
I had to put her out.
You're going to be the better for it. You're going to be the better for it because now you get to decide whether your opinions are really true. You get to decide whether your leadership is really on point because now there is no teammate. Go ahead, Double.
Okay, question real quick. Was it Judge I was just talking about the kick out the girlfriend?
Yeah, that was me.
I want you a question. How long you guys been together?
We were together, almost a year and a half.
On and off or just straight through?
We had maybe, in that whole time, we had maybe about 4 or 5 days we didn't speak.
Okay.
So, no, it's not like literally, we didn't, I think about shit already moved in with me.
Okay. Well, here's the thing, man. One, and it's going to sound really harsh and really cold, and I wish I was this way when I was in my 20s, but there's no negotiating. All right? There is no say, especially if I'm doing most of the work. You look, your name might be in this apartment, but I'm taking care of everything. You ain't got to worry about nothing. There's no negotiation. It's what the fuck it is. And that's coming from a position of power. When you start negotiating, then it seems like you're coming from a position of weakness because they're not going to negotiate. Women are not going to negotiate fair with men. They're not going to. And it's in their nature. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just how they are. I mean, they either get with your program or they move on. Like I said earlier about the whole true equality thing. You think my fiance liked it at first? No. But when I broke it down to her, I think I tried, it was like not even a day, and she was like, oh, I don't like this. Yeah, I know. What you gonna do? You gonna fall in line, or we could end this right now. Makes me no difference. I can sleep in the woods.
Now, Chaos, doesn't that sound like my channel, Chaos?
What's up?
Mr. Chaos? No, I was asking Mr. Chaos. Mr. Chaos, doesn't it sound like the things I say on my channel?
Yes, he did. Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Okay, so that proves my point when you came to my live stream and I said we have to stop being so verbal with these females. Put your foot down, turn your back on them, take your power tools, walk away. Yeah, I got a channel. Been having a channel for years.
I didn't know
a smart female will go after the guy with the biggest umbrella. Mm-hmm. A dumb female is going to sit there with her Walmart bling bling umbrella and hope that she stays out the rain. We don't care if she gets wet. We don't care if she's a tsunami. That's not part of our circle. And guys got to understand, yelling back at these females is somebody that's behind you. Go ahead, Judge. I apologize.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. But yeah, like you said take your power to them and walk away. Like I said, I did the same thing. Silent treatment, just cut them off. I realized, but I've done that. I noticed I've done that, say, in the last 10 years with my relationships. And I find that even though when you just do them clean breaks like that, most of the time, if you bump into them afterwards, you don't have no problems because they realize you don't take it. You don't even get to the fight. Say, you either do this or I'm gone. If you don't, I'll find somebody else that will.
Oh, let me say something, Mr. Wolf. Since we talk us, it goes back to how disciplined we are as men in this point stage in our development. Because to walk away and do what you said is easy for certain men, but as collective, we don't put enough emphasis to really do that. And I feel if enough of us, percentage-wise, does that it's going to show a shift where a lot of women can't do what they want with us, the actual competent men, black men. They can do that with an uncompetent man, but a real competent man that really they know they're going to fall back to at the end of the day, they're not going to be there.
Well, I think if they do that, it's because the men have actually been trained to feel, to really care about a woman's feelings. And I think that a lot of us, we sometimes have been, society has taught us that we must protect them at all costs. And then sometimes it's like, well, wait a minute, why am I sitting here putting a shield up in front of somebody who's shooting me in the back of the head?
Wait. We gotta stop Judge on that. Judge, it's not society. It's only Black Americans. Let me prove it. A man from Yemen, he don't have that feeling about a strange Yemen woman. A man from Ireland, he don't have that feeling about a strange Ireland woman. Only the ones in his family. A white man divorces 4 times more than any other man in America. Do you think he cares? No. The only people who are trained like that are the descendants of African slaves. We're the only ones who have that take care of a strange woman philosophy. When you go out to spring break, Judge, and you see how some of these chicks begin dragged, slutted out, do you see another white man come to her defense? Or does he pull out his penis and join or walk away? So it's not society. And I just respectfully say, Judge, sometimes we, and this is something I said to Chaos, sometimes we as Black men repeat things that are not necessarily true because we have been told throughout the years that is true, but it doesn't mean that it's true. What's that whole thing? You judge how a society is by its woman. Here's a question for everybody. Maybe I don't know. What passage of the Bible is that written in?
I can't.
Or did somebody at church, or did somebody at church just tell you it was there and you just believed it?
Okay. No, man, you got a good point there.
No, let's think about that. That's a good question. On a default, if I want to answer, I would say normally that somebody told us that was there because on the average, most Black people don't read the Bible. So obviously we're going to go by what we were told. Especially when you look at most people in the Bible, including the women, left their relationships and got with somebody else. Yes, your boy Moses left my favorite female character, Zipporah, left her and went and started another family before he died. So what are we talking about? You look at Joshua, or was it Joshua? Yeah, I think it was Joshua. You look at Joshua, sit up here told the king that his wife is his sister and let the king screw his wife. So at what part of the game in the Bible is this we Black men are repeating? It goes back to what Double said. We're repeating what women have trained us to repeat over the years. Exactly. You there, Double?
I'm right here.
Okay.
I'm listening. I'm just listening to y'all.
All right. Good.
Like I said, but see, the lessons I learned were hard lessons. That mean, it's trial and error. And when I found out everything was a lie, it was like, holy shit. Then you're mad. You go through that real pill rage for a while. But then when I went, yeah.
No, go ahead and finish your thought. I didn't want to step on it. Go ahead.
Oh, shit, I lost. Nope, I found it. You go through that real pill rage for a little while. And then when you look back and you ask your mother and like, hey, how can you teach me this? How can you teach me that? And then the truth comes out. Oh, you realize it wasn't your fault. You know, it wasn't my fault that was the villain. You know, it wasn't this person that wasn't the villain.
I think too. I'm not even gonna say this. I think too, the women they've been brainwashed a little too.
Of course, they've
been brainwashed. So they've been brainwashed to think that they have to act like this and they have to come and support these values. Because I noticed that, like I said, as you see, anytime it's anything that undermines their power, they'll come so hard at it, it's not funny. But if it's something, it's like, you say something bad about them, but they can see another woman taking advantage of, say, being a woman and whatever. They'll just kind of like sit back. Well, the worst you can get is, hey, that might be a little wrong, or you could be a little nicer, where they feel, hey, men, we deserve to be treated however the woman wants to treat us. They feel like that. That's how, if she wants to treat you that way and do that to you, you deserve it. I don't care. You might have done something 10 years ago, so now she's just getting it back for you, getting it back to you now. I've noticed that in a lot of women's views, they'll find little thing to justify their behavior of how they treat their men.
Here's the only pushback I have on George, is that if you're complicit with the brainwashing, it's not truly brainwashing. Let me say it again. If you know that you're benefiting from the brainwashing, it's not brainwashing. Here go a quick history lesson.
Right.
Here go a quick history lesson. 1700s. This is why I say for everybody, get this research on. You had white men in the South, by law, behave just like black women do today. Entitled, everything, because the laws were written for the white man in the South. Now, the white man, was he brainwashed, or was he using something to his advantage?
Oh, he was. I mean, unfortunately, he's using it to his advantage. I mean, but a lot of people
I disagree. He was still brainwashed, but he was complicit in the brainwashing.
Oh, you
got to remember, he was born into this.
Right.
But he knew it was wrong. He knew it was wrong impregnating Miss Sally and then having his daughter become a slave too, a light-skinned slave. He knew. And today's woman is doing the same thing. But my thing is, we help them by constantly complaining about it instead of just remove yourself.
Well, I think that when we complain online, I think that really what it is this. That's why they're so against it. They don't realize something. For everybody that hears these stories and stuff like that, the stories are either, say if one person hears it, not one person, they realize, well, wait a minute, all these men don't know each other. They're saying the same exact thing. So he may not do it anymore. And then what is he going to do? Even if he doesn't have friends that watch these shows, he's going to tell his friends, hey, man, this is why you don't do this, this, and this. And actually, it's actually becoming not to be in their favor anymore. And they don't realize it because a lot of men are just, as we say, they opting out. They're not putting up with the bullshit. Or like I said, they're gonna be nice long enough to hit it and quit it. And that's just what it is. They don't realize that the women just end up being used up. And then men know, oh, wait a minute, she's a straight up asshole. If you're gonna fuck with her long enough, hit her a couple times, and then just call it a day. That's just what it is. And they realize that because by the men not getting married to them, that's another showing like a form of revenue that's being taken away. Because they can't get spousal support no more, so all they can get is the child support.
Well, how is it the men
are protecting themselves? They're not having babies out of wedlock, so that's cutting off another stream.
Well, how is the men not married then when black husbands has risen since 2001? So if black husbands,
men don't marry black women like that.
Oh yes, they do. Yeah, the census shows that. The Department of Justice shows that. See, what you may be getting is some YouTube information or one of the guys from the Manosphere who's pissed off at women.
You don't think? Wait a minute. I don't know. Like of all of my friends that I grew up with, I only have two friends. No, but I'm saying I only have two friends that are married. 2 out of all the men that I grew up with.
But
respectfully,
Judge, you talk to Mr. Research here. So if
respectfully, I'm going to suggest to you, Double may have a different experience in his circle. Chaos may have a different experience in my circle. I may have a different experience. But what you cannot deny, Judge, is the Department of Justice tracks marriage certificates.
And by the way, just to piggyback off of Mr. Research, people stick with their own. If you're going by what you see on TV when they're pushing this interracial thing, that's not everybody. Like, for instance, at all my friends that are black, most of them are with their own. I'm the 10%, one of the 10% of my friends who is in an interracial relationship. Okay.
Yeah, I don't believe that black men are just got a thing in there saying, "Oh, only date white women." I think that's a hocus pocus crap right there.
Yeah,
but I do believe overall marriage numbers are down.
What I want to try to suggest to you, though, Judge, is let's get off the I think. Let's try to get Judge into actually open up blackdemographics.com.net and looking at the pie chart. Let's get a Judge into away from I assume or I heard, and I'm not coming down on you. I'm just being sure.
You like to have your opinion.
Wait.
No.
Let me pull it up.
Go ahead and pull it up. I'm actually cleaning the house right now as we speak, but definitely put it on screen because I'm actually cleaning my kitchen.
Opinion. A fact is not an opinion.
If the numbers say, it just seems like they're a lot less married. Now, I could be wrong. I'm not.
But when you do that, you speak against the power of your brothers. When you use their narrative out of your mouth, you help them in their narrative. See, Judge said it, so therefore it's true. Judge got only 2 people, so therefore it's true.
No, so, you don't go by just because it's in my group. That's just an opinion. That's not a fact.
No.
Women think like that. Women think like that because this too. When you give an opinion and it's something bad against women, they take an opinion as you saying a fact. Women do that. Men, I said in my opinion. This is the difference between men and women. That they like if you give something that brings out a feeling in them, they'll make it take that statement as factual, even though the only thing you did was bring out an opinion in them. I mean, got an emotional response out of them.
All I'm gonna do is suggest this because I don't think you're hearing me. When a male, when Double says his opinion and it goes against black males in some type of way, he is helping destroy the image of black males. Men like Double has to be more calculated and researched in what he says. So where it's not an opinion, it's a documented fact. So if Double goes and he repeats something like a lot of black dudes are in jail. Okay, that is true. A lot of black dudes are in jail. So what do you want to do with that? Oh, nothing. Just a lot of black dudes in jail. Well, Double, there's a lot of Irish dudes in jail. There's a lot of white dudes in jail. Oh, but black people are a smaller demographic. Bruh.
Actually, I would say.
Wait. Let me just finish this.
Go ahead.
And then Double will say it's actually a lot of dudes are arrested, not necessarily in jail. Arrest numbers do not necessarily mean they have been in jail. But go ahead, Double.
But
go ahead.
One thing I bring up. Remember this conversation we had a week ago or 2 weeks ago in regards opinions of what it called theory. It goes back to again the definition of words. And we had to go back again to say we don't really look at evaluate the words of what is an opinion. Is it something that's factual? Remember you told me this before, Mr. Research? And we use the same narrative?
Yes, sir.
So we had to be very careful when we use certain words. I had to be very careful of even saying certain things and give it as an opinion. If I know it's a fact, I just leave it alone. But go ahead, Double. I don't want to stop your thoughts.
No. I agree. See, I believe in burying myself in the data. That's what I believe in. I mean, opinions are like assholes. Everybody got one, and they all don't smell rosy. But if I say all black men, there's more black men are in jail than in college, I know I'm lying to you guys. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
No matter what narrative that they try to push, there's more black men in college than there are in jail. It's just they just show us in the worst of the light possible, not just for us, for the rest of the world. It's a conversation I had with somebody at my job the other day. I was like, no, there's more black men in college than in jail. Well, I saw a documentary on VH1 on mainstream media. Next. And you're right. I'm not going to go against the narrative to go against my brothers, because to go against my brothers is to go against myself. And I love myself. So I'm just agreeing with you, Mr. Research.
And again, I'm not coming down. I'm not coming down on Judge. I just want to make sure that we clear. So I'm gonna read. I'm quite sure Chaos got it, but blackdemographics.com. Black marriages in 2017. This goes from 15 on up, because what happens back in the 30s, 20s, they had 15-year-olds getting married, and they still track it like that, the same way they do pregnancy. So when a black boy gets somebody pregnant, he's classified as a black man in the pregnancy demographic. So they do the same for marriage. Here's what it says. And this goes to Judge. I will agree, Judge.
I'm listening.
52% of men are not married. Not. Okay. But of the remainder, 85% have a black wife. What do you say to that? Now, remember, 15 years old on up. So of the dudes that are not married, include 15-year-olds. But of those that are, 85% have black wives.
So what I'm gonna go say on that? What I believe that more black people marry black women. I've never been interested in a swirling, so you maybe have me confused on that issue.
I think the point I'm trying to suggest to you is, when you say, well, I got some friends and they not married to black wives, or they not married.
No, I never said that. I said not married. Not married to black women, just not married.
Okay, not married. But
I had no. All of my friends, I ain't gonna lie, they date black women.
Is this the right one? Anybody see it? My screen?
Hold on. I can see it.
Is this the one, Mr. Research? Black Democrat? I'm not sure if this is the right one.
It should be blackdemographics.com/households.
Okay. But yeah, like I said, I would look it up myself, but I'm actually.
But it don't look like you're on the marriage section, though.
All right, so it should be here in household, right?
Well, it should be, but I'm looking at household/marriages is what I'm on.
All right, this should be the one. Look good. Can you see it?
Yeah. Keep going down to the graph, to the blue graph. You should see a blue. Oh, there you go.
This one. All right. Look at this, Judge, and I'm gonna speak so that way it stays on to the screen. It shows here white spouse having black interracial marriage. How many black men and women have married out in 2017? Now this is a little bit old. We're in 2019, so it's like 2 years old. It shows here white spouse. I guess black men and black women, blue and green. Black men, 409,000. Black women, 172,000. Hispanics and other, they're in the lower. So we're still in the high percentage in regards to marriage. Is that what I'm seeing, right?
Yeah, you went down to, or was it just me?
You went down to the interracial. The one above is black.
Are you Borgen, or is it just me? He's Borgen on mine.
Okay. Is I'm boring? Do I sound like a boring? I'm sound good?
I don't hear Borgen. But
okay, here it is. Black marriage. Here's the one.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you, Judge.
All right. Black marriage in 2017, which is 2 years old now, amongst non-Hispanic African Americans aged 15 up. Who black men are married? There's 85% big pie having black wives. Who black women married? 90% black men, which is obvious. So we're still being married amongst each other. So that shows a little proof evidence. So
now that little part you read about interracial or white women is that 9%. It's that 9%.
Okay, I see.
So there's a lot of dudes with interracial situations. Yeah. But you got to understand, majority of these dudes compared to 2001 have darn near doubled their numbers. Now, I do understand there's a lot of dudes that want to put out the anti-black female message, or there's a lot of females that want to put out the anti-male message. Do what you do. Here's my last point, and I'm going to back up and listen to you guys. The point is, all these other people, the Indians, the white people, they're operating like families, and they're taking over black neighborhoods left and right. Exactly. The more we keep feeling proud about busting a nut and being single, there's not going to be a son to take over your mortgage when you get 82. There's not going to be a daughter. Yep. There's not going to be a daughter to protect you when you sitting up here in a wheelchair. And it's happening over here where I live, left and right. People are losing their houses. Old people getting kicked out of their homes and sent to a state facility because they have nobody to come in and take care of their property. If the state comes in or if the county comes in and Chaos is 82 and the state determines that Chaos is unfit to live by himself, they will put Chaos in the state facility and put his home up for auction.
Yep. Or a lot of people
really?
They're getting they do that, or they get into this what they call reverse mortgage thing. And that's how basically they can take over the properties. Definitely. They're doing that to a lot of old people. I've seen it happening.
Yes, Double. This really makes sense. And that's really logical. I see a lot of people that's living longer that are getting foreclosure in the house and they just run them out. Yeah. And a lot of them were baby boomers.
Wow.
Particularly. Yeah.
I'm not against marriage. You should want to get married. I totally I'm not even gonna lie. I wanted to get married. Mm-hmm. You know, you would think that considering I sit on these panels and stuff like this, but I actually did. I mean, I was actually going to marry my girlfriend, but I figured she didn't have she didn't. You know, if people don't have your back on a certain thing, sometimes you just can't do that. And I feel that a lot of black men feel that they don't have our backs.
Yeah.
And that's the reason why, you know, and unfortunately it is a very big risk. I mean, because you're going, you know, so I don't think that, I think too that one thing that's bad about the older people as you get older, if you have kids, as long as you were good to your kids, hopefully your kids should come back and help you. So I don't think that would actually get you, you know, just because you're not married, that's going to get you, oh, well, you know, they're definitely not going to do anything for you. Because, you know, think about it. I have 3 kids. I have never been married. I don't think, you know, that my children are not going to say, oh, Dad, forget about you. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, 1 or 2 of them maybe. But hopefully out of the 3, I might get 1 to come take care of me.
Yeah, I get you. All right. I'm going to end tonight's session. I'd like to thank everybody that listened to tonight's session. Like always, you know what I'm saying, I will re-uploading this nice broadcast, you know what I'm saying, get to the more shortest part of it. But like always, you know, you can catch replay of this broadcast and, you know, when I upload it. And be lookout for next content and premieres very soon. If you're not subscribed to Chaos Reign, please subscribe and comment and like the video. Like always, you know, sharing is caring, and always to spread the word and information out. I'd like to thank Mr. Research, aka The Wolf, for jumping, for appearing on my stream, and everybody else that participate. But other than that, let the chaos reign.